Welcome to Chapter Sass, the podcast where we deep dive into the books that make you blush, gasp, and maybe even think a little. I'm your host, Season, and with every book, I'll be joined with a new co-host with their own hot take. From spicy romances to messy love triangles and all the glorious chaos in between, we're here with a fresh perspective to unpack the stories we love, question what we think we know, and explore how the book speaks to us. Things might even get a little sassy. This episode is rated mature and will contain spoilers. Let's get into the first chapter. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We will be covering The Blood of Hercules. This is the Villain of Lore series, book 1 by Jasmine Mas. And we're going to make it to the end of the book, guys. So chapters 31 through 36. Hello, Danielle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What are you drinking today?
Okay, I have sad news to report. I only have 2 beverages.
Oh, darn.
Just water and coffee today.
Oh, love it. Love it. I need to be drinking coffee. I had some girls over. We did a wine tasting to a book series, and season got a little lit yesterday, and then I have champagne showcase later. So it's just like a whole bunch of stuff today, but it is end of the book. So I made a French 75. I'm a little bummed it's not as red because I grew rhubarb in my yard, and so I infused it with gin. So I was hoping to come in a little. This is like a reddish yellow. I don't know how else to describe it. And I want it to be called like Lover's Obsession or something. I'll think of something cute by the time I post it. But like because we're at the end of the book, shit happens. But it looks yellow.
Well, that's because of the lemon juice.
Oh, fuck.
Anytime you're adding citrus, and especially lemon juice, you're adding citrus to anything with color, that acidity is going to change the color, right? Like, there's that gin out there that's called Empress, and when you buy it in the bottle, it looks beautiful, but when you expose it to acid, it turns blue.
Oh.
That's because there's butterfly pea flower in there. Like, that's what they get the color from. So anytime you have something that's got color added to it like that, as soon as you add citrus, the color's either going to change and it's 100% going to knock down in intensity.
Oh, well, now we know why. But guys, in my head, this was going to be like a light like pink or something. And I was so excited, but I don't know chemistry and I didn't know that the lemon was going to do that.
Yeah, you would need like 10 times the amount of rhubarb.
But it does taste good.
That's what counts.
It does. Yeah, it does taste good. Okay. Alrighty. Let's get into it. So we are at chapter 31. It's called Wicked Bonds, Alexis, and it's the end of January. Oh, really quickly, we ended with us figuring out that Alexis is really Hercules and all the men going after Theros because Theros is why Helen and her were kidnapped. So now we go to this one. So chapter 31, Wicked Bonds. It's an Alexis chapter, end of January. So it's Alexis' wedding day. Dun, 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 for her. But instead, she feels like she's like walking to a funeral. It's not as happy as she would like it to be. at least not right now. The wedding day was pushed forward quickly to cover up the scandal of her going through like the crucible, and because Helen was involved with the kidnapping. So like now Helen's honor is also on the line or whatnot. So like they need this to happen. And all she is thinking is that she's a murderer and how she is a loophole to her and her husband's. This is a sham of a wedding, and she thinks that they do not love her. While she's walking down the aisle, Alexis kind of gives us a rundown of what's happened in like the past 2 weeks. So she and Charlie have moved in with Hades and Persephone. Hades and Persephone are doing their best to be great parents. They've nursed her back to health and remembered her 20th birthday. Also, that clue is just for us to know that she's now 20. Theros mysteriously disappeared. Mysteriously in quotes. Patros and Achilles are not loving the idea of this marriage. Alexis says, like, in the book, while she's, like, walking down the aisle and, like, they're, like she, like, starts to give her vows, it looks like Achilles is physically holding back Patrol. Fluffy Jr. has grown about 3 sizes larger and is starting to possibly look like a horse. The second I read that, I knew exactly who Fluffy Jr. was. I was like, if no one picked up on it, you're terrible. That is such an obvious clue. During the wedding ceremony, Alexis gets like a little bit like snippy, snappy with Augustus and Karen, and she has every right to be. You know, the officiant's like kind of like, you know, saying some stuff, and I think she has every right to be a little mad. So then the officiant for the wedding is no other than the purple-eyed Faith. So Alexis finally remembers where she saw this person before the massacre. And it was when the person brought Charlie. So she's finally kind of putting two and two together. The Faith says, I'm glad you took a chance on the killers. Great choice. And so again, like, weird. But Alexis is just for like, are you for real? But to us as readers, like, we know the Fate is trying to keep the balance, right?
Mhm.
And she had a reason for enacting the marriage law. As readers, we trust the Fate, right? Like, we know she has to keep the balance. We know that if she's saying, I'm glad you went with the killers, they're not really killers. Like we know as readers. But meanwhile, like, Alexis doesn't know this, but again, as readers, we love a morally gray man. And so we know that both of these men are just going to be morally gray, but we know that we can trust them because she made that statement. So at the altar, the bride and grooms have like a quick, like, private little chat. Alexis just like, I'm not your dearest. Don't call me that. You're nothing. I'm nothing, professor. You know, she's just getting, again, she's just being a little snippy, a little snap, which she has every right to be. And the men are like, you're here because you accepted our gifts. I warned you that someone would have to step in if you were reckless and how you were acting. Like, you can't even take care of yourself. Who knows in Kronos, like, where the fuck you would be? And so, like, but while she's like snipping at them and all this, she's getting butterflies. Like, she's like loving the fact that they're doing this for her. So then the officiant is like, let's just get on with this. They all take their vows, and it's very interesting how they take their vows because including the men have to wear this. It's like a ring. They each get rings, but it's like a bracelet tied with like a chain
Mhm.
that is permanently on them. So I don't know if it's like one of those like bracelet chain things, but that's just like an interesting way to describe it. Now that they're all like doing their vows, they all feel like this pain that gets into their chest. But as quickly as it comes, it goes away. Augustus and and Karan notice the old scars that Alexis had as a child, like, and how she gave it to herself when she like broke free all those years ago. And they ask her, how did she get these? And she says it's nothing. And then they're like, no, we're talking about this later. The officiant says you can kiss the bride, but says we need to leave before they do. So I'm guessing she got a vision of like what was gonna happen. Karen kicks everyone out. One person like decides to kind of stay and be like a smartass, and he quickly leaves after that. And then the two monsters push her against the altar. Dun 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 dun. End of chapter. Chapter 32. But right when we think we're gonna get a spicy scene, we do not. Oh wait, do you have anything to say before I go in? Because next is a Patro chapter. He's just complaining.
Sometimes, okay, I get it. Like, Alexis feels like she was trapped by these men. She feels like they're just like playing a game. And I can understand the ease in seeing that viewpoint. I get frustrated with the fact that she is incapable of seeing that they might have any sort of care or desire or whatever for her, right? Like, she feels like it's all just like plots and plans and schemes and scams. And it's like, yeah, there might be some of that, but like, I don't know, just relax a little bit, maybe. I, right?
Do, do you think, and I'm saying this not only as not being experienced with like love or whatever, but not having the only love that she knows is Nyx and Charlie, right? She doesn't know any other love. So would this come from, and not just again her not being her being vanilla or whatever, but could we also say she just doesn't know what love is? Like, and the love that she feels for Nix and Charlie is very different than the love that you're gonna get from your husband's lover.
Maybe, but I'm also gonna go back to the idea that, like, I mean, I know that as, like, culture and society and things like that, we have these ideas that you get married for love, but, like,
Hmm.
getting married is that's a business decision.
Oh, I agree. That is partly a business decision, 1000%.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, she might not know all of these things, and she might not know these experiences or whatever, but, like, and yeah, you can be upset with these people that they turned you into a business decision, but I I don't know. I'm just kinda like, you've been going through this for long enough. You've been in this society for a chunk of time. You've been dealing with these people for a chunk of time. Like, you shouldn't really be surprised anymore. With how
Yeah.
intelligent you are and how much time you've spent with this crew, you should not be surprised by their behavior.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that. I do think there have been enough signs that Alexa should have picked up on that maybe she doesn't trust them fully yet because like this was such a big decision. And we also have to remember that like she was going through the crucible. So like she also was like delirious 80% of the time. Like, so while they got to develop their feelings, she wasn't necessarily in that place. But I do think there have been certain moments where I do think she should be at least questioning. Like, I was a business decision, but X happened. Or, I was a business decision, but like they're yelling at me because they like are caring. It wasn't just Thonic lives matter, like it was my life that mattered. So I mean I do think there were like certain situations, but book two, she is the Katy Perry song of hot and cold. Let me
Oh,
tell you. Okay, chapter 32, but you belong to us. And this is a patrol chapter. So a new point of view. We've only ever gotten Alexis, Kara, and Augustus up until now. Oh, and then the first chapter on the fate, but that's about it. So it says Achille leaps them both away before Patrol can cause a scene. And this is when Karan kicks everyone out at the altar. Patrol's pissed and tells Achilles, "You should have let me stay. She doesn't want to marry them. She's our mentee." And Patro admits Alexis had come something more. Achilles pushes up against wall and signs, "We will find a way to take her away from them. She's already ours. She just doesn't know it yet." Chapter 33. Thoughts before we get into chapter 33, yeah.
okay. It's difficult for me to assess that idea without having read forward because
Mhm. Oh.
now that I've gotten into the second book and
Mhm.
I have better knowledge of why Petros is acting this way, I'm sort of like, okay, like,
Okay,
so it's
I'll answer this question for you, kind of, sort of. So before I got to the second book, and so I and you know this, I do immersive reading. So I like listen and read. And so I had listened and read this book a long time ago and I just like highlight. And then when we go back for the podcast, I let it read it to me again and I like write down like why did I highlight this, blah blah, blah whatever, things like that. I was already thinking that was the reason why. And so for two, that was already my thought. Uh, but another thing is, up until now, the Thonics were all very close, right? Like, so they were all very close. Like, they're like brothers, sisters, whatever. Like, I'm sure Achilles loves Helen as his own little sister, and that's not. They all have very similar beliefs and like what women should and should not do or whatnot. So we could say though the same, I guess the same reason, like for all the reasons why Karen and Augustus wanted is the same reasons, kind of, sort of, why Patros and Achilles. I think the difference is Patros and Achilles are together and Augustus and Karen are not. And so I think that's the difference in like their logic. Like they want her because she's Sonic. They want her because she's powerful. It's gonna help them do whatever. They all do care about her. I do truly believe all four care about her, but I think how they're viewing her is different because again, Augustus and Karen are not together and Patros and Achilles are. And so how they're viewing how she can help their relationship and how they are forming their love for her is very dependent on those two things.
Yeah. All of it, though, is still based in possession. From
Oh, that's a morally gray man. That's my prejudice.
the standpoint from, both sets of men is just like, she's ours. We had her first. Well, she accepted our jewelry. Well, she's our wife. And it's just like, I don't know. Can she fuck all four of you? Like,
She could. Technically in
yeah,
Sparta.
this isn't that hard. Everybody can share. There's enough Alexis to go around, right? Is there?
That your quote, I swear. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. Okay. Chapter 33, Cardinal Delights. It's an Alexis chapter. We finally get back to her. So she is pushed up against the altar. We finally get a spicy Alexis chapter because up until now, we have gotten spicy chapters from other people, not necessarily Alexis. And I just want to say, we get Alexis's first spicy chapter, and she doesn't even have sex as an actual intercourse. Like, she doesn't actually like do the deed. But anyways, so we're back. The altar is empty, except for Alexis, Karen, and Augustus. Then Karen asks, "Can I kiss the bride, or may I kiss the bride?" And you gotta love like a guy who like consents. So yes, our consents king here. Alexis just thinks to herself, the damage is already done. There's nothing left for me to lose. It's just a stupid kiss. Meanwhile, she can feel the two cords in her sternum. So that pain that they felt was like their bond connecting. And so like now it's kind of like the bond that she has like Fluffy Jr. Like she can feel happy or pleasure or whatever, like through this bond. So like the two new cords in her sternum are like feeling, and she knows that this is her feeling. And we talked about this kind of before, but in the book, it was like there's a rule that you can only have like 3 bonds. And I do think you were right. It's the type of bond because she has Fluffy Jr., which would be 1, and her 2 husbands. But if we look at Karan, he has he has 2 protectors. He has two hounds, and now he's bond to Augustus and Alexis. So that's more than what it is. So I do think like she's allowed to have 1 more bond with somebody.
But I also wonder
And
too, like, even though it's one marriage to 2 people, does one marriage count as 1 bond?
I think that's what. Oh, good. Oh, I like that. I was gonna say yeah, but I was like, oh, I get where you're going there. Oh,
Can you have a
I like
second
that.
marriage to 2 people?
Yeah. No, that's not happening. I already have my thoughts for those 2 people. It doesn't get answered in book 2, but I'm 90% sure that this is where the storyline's gonna go with those 2 people.
Yeah.
So that's true. That's true. Okay. So she's just thinking, it's a stupid kiss. And then Kara kneels before her in the altar and lifts Alexis's, like, he lifts Alexis, so she's like sitting on the altar, spreads her legs. While he is head level with her thighs, he asks one more time, "May I kiss the bride?" And Alexis is getting all these butterflies. She clearly wants this. And Alexis just thinks to herself, this is all a game to them. You're just playing with me. You're already dead. Like, I'm also like a bad person. Like she's just thinking all these things.
Mhm.
Look at all this I did to all these people. I need a distraction. I need to forget that I'm a serial killer. And I wouldn't say serial killer per se. Yeah, she killed random people, but she wasn't like doing it for fun or anything. But she calls herself a serial killer. And so she says yes. And then Karen starts to essentially eat her out. Then Augustus comes and puts his hands around her throat. But it's very playful. She's enjoying this. He's enjoying this. It's nothing bad. And Augustus' mouse opens or hovers. I'm sorry. Augustus' mouse hovers over Alexis and he says, "This is your punishment, my Carus. And I told you you'll have an hour. Only then will you be allowed to come." And if you remember, he said, "I'm adding an extra hour for every punishment," when he took her from the symposium and she was like kicking him and hurting him. So this is her punishment. And I just want to say, if this was my punishment, I could be punished all the time. like, go ahead, Danielle.
Okay. As a good girl, I like the idea of it being punishment, right?
Yeah.
But then there's this part of me that's like, yo, if this is gonna take you an hour, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Right? So I'm torn between these two ideas of, oh yeah, that's hot. Right? Like being like in a consensual realm and in a playful realm, like being sexually like taunted and tortured can be enjoyable. But you're also doing this to somebody who I don't know if they know or not, has like no idea. Right? Like,
Mhm.
and then yeah, after an hour, I'm just kind of like, okay, come on. Like we got other stuff to do, y'all. Like,
I think I love that. I think for her, because she doesn't know better or anything, I think it makes sense for her character. Is it realistic? Maybe not, but I do think for her character, an hour. But like they just make sure she doesn't reach ecstasy, right? Like they just like pull back every single time.
yeah, I don't know. I just need some variance in that hour. I just need some variance. Put me on a spanking bench for the first 30 minutes. Then
Oh, well,
round with me,
she gets.
right?
I do assume it's different though, like because they do switch, right? So like I'm not assuming they give head the same way or finger her the same way, you know? So like I do think she gets a variation of it.
Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't sound nice. It sounds great. Good for her. Like, go on and get it. But I'm just like, come on, dude. Just like an hour of eating pussy? Like,
No, they switch off, and it's not just eating; they do other things.
I know, but I'm still just like, we need to.
Okay, that's true. Okay, and that's why I say she does it, but she doesn't do the actual deed. It's like, girl. So okay,
Oh,
Karen, Carl,
Laura,
what?
wait. But here's my issue. This is, again, goes back to the thing of like, why, like, the thing that drives me nuts of how Alexis is written like this is, I mean, she's going into pretty good detail about the sex act and how it's being performed and like what these two men are doing to her and like the way that it feels in her body, right? And all of a sudden, now Alexis knows the name of her body parts. All of a sudden, now you know someone is using their tongue to flick your clit. You know that now. Now you know where the feelings are. Now you know that it's not in your stomach. You could continue with the word core. I'm fine with that. But like, right, we as the readers know that she is unexperienced in this realm. And yet all of a
Mhm.
sudden she's experiencing it for the first time and now she knows how to talk about her body. Nah,
Well,
nah. Mm-mm.
it's a book. It's a book. It's made for the plot.
Yeah, but I'm
It's for
a
the
Virgo.
it's for the plot. Okay. So Khan starts like fingering her. So he's like eating her out. He's not fingering her. Then Augusta starts kissing her, feeling up on her nipples, sucking her nipples, doing all the good things. It says the men have brought her to the brink of ecstasy many times. They'll pull back every single time for the next hour. And then the men do trade spots. So Augustus is now on his knees and she's getting all the butterflies from him. She doesn't know if this is like heaven or hell that she's feeling. She just knows she's enjoying what she's feeling. And then after the hour, Karan gets in between and then they say the hour is up. And then he's like, what do you want to do? So then Karan gets between Alexis' legs again, and Augustus holds Alexis down. And then Augustus grabs the back of her neck and tells Alexis, "You were such a good girl. Look at him." And Karan's in between her legs and uses his power. So she is now feeling everything that he is feeling, and it's great pleasure. And then Augustus uses his magic or his powers and says, "You will feel nothing but ecstasy." And so she screams with pleasure at them because she's getting it from like literally both men. She just like told to feel this pleasure. And then after like Alexis like comes around, she noticed 2 skeleton dogs sleeping in the middle of the aisle. And Karan tells Alexis those are his animal protectors. Since Karan is currently letting Alexis feel like he's using his powers, she can see what he sees. And Augustus, we learn later on, can also see it sometimes when Karan lets him see it. So the 3 of them know that these animals exist. And he says he can see them because of his creature heritage sides. Otherwise, Spartans cannot see them. And then the dogs start whispering, and Alexis realizes this is the exact same whispering she's been hearing for months. Persephone is part creature. So is this why Alexis can understand like certain animals and others can't? Then Alexis wants to scream. Alexis asks if they can speak, and Karan says no, they can't speak. Whatever they're doing is just their language. But Alexis is like, no, I understand. Like, she can understand them. She asked then if he had them follow her, and Karan says maybe. And then Alexis asks about the nightmares, that when she saw the devil with red eyes, and sometimes she saw 2 sets of red eyes, did they watch over her while she was sleeping? And they say maybe. Alexis is sick to her stomach. She starts to have a panic attack. She tells them, like, they're trying to hold her and like calm her down, and she's just like, no, let me go. She faints. And this is a complete invasion of privacy. But this kind of goes back to what you were saying before, where it was like they got to see Alexis in her vulnerable sides through these dogs. They got to like see she didn't, right? She was on Crucible. She was on edge the whole time. So while they were able to kind of fall in love, that didn't happen for her. So, chapter 34, The Stalker. Karan chapter 5 months earlier. And this is the initiate's first lap of the Crucible. Karan's admitted realization. So when we got Karan's chapter that first time in like chapter 5 or whatever, when he talked about the Crucible, this was omitted from us. So like we are now getting what was taken away. So in this chapter, Karan realizes exactly who Alexis is when she uses her powers. Karan knows she is Chthonic, and the only Chthonic child who could have supposedly died was Hercules. So she has to be Hercules. Karan thinks to himself, the Federation doesn't know like who she is. They don't know that she is Chthonic. Nobody can know. Then it hits him. Alexis is a solution to the marriage law, the loophole they were all looking for. Karan made it look like he killed the boy, Christo, before someone else noticed that Alexis had actually done it. And Karan says that he has to keep her identity hidden. She will be his dirty little secret. So that is why he put his hands on Crystal, just to like end him quickly. So like all the other initiates, the professors, everyone would think it was him. Karan knows Alexis grew up in the human world and does not know their customs. And so she wouldn't know that opening up a betrothal box would mean accepting it. Her arrogance is perfect. We can exploit it ruthlessly. And then at graduation, we will reveal to everyone we are engaged. The Federation cannot do anything about it. We will trap her in this marriage. Then Karan tells his protectors, follow Alexis, watch her, don't leave her side. So whatever the dog saw, he saw. So this is why he was able to say in great detail when she beat up the boys, how she beat up the boys. He's able to know in great detail all the people who like touched her, kissed her, all these things because the dog saw it, so he was able to see it. And then we go back, chapter 35, the plan, Augustus, present day. So Augustus is carrying Alexis through his villa slash their villa because now they're all married, and she's rich now. So he's just carrying her because she fainted. Augustus and Karen are happy that they married, aka bonded to Alexis for life. A Thonic Spartan who is their equal, and I do like that they said that. So like I think this is when we start to see the shift, right? Like 5 months ago it was this. Now they view her as their equal. They're going to be the most powerful that they've ever been. It's like the most glorious feeling in the world. She is absolutely perfect for them. But then Augustus remembers how Alexis freaks out when she realized like everything they've been doing for months for her and how she tried to get away. He notices again that her wrists are covered in old scars. And Persephone had said that she wasn't born with two different color eyes. They found her sleeping in a cardboard box with her brother. Alexis is keeping things from them, and Augustus and Karen need to slaughter these people because it clearly isn't good. Augustus whispers in Latin to a passed out Alexis, "Love is rich with honey and venom." And Karen agrees. And in the chapter, thoughts.
I mean, you know, is that like a romanticized way of saying these two characters are exactly who we think they are and they're going to behave in the way that we've been shown this entire time in the book? Sure. You know,
Yep.
um, I do think though that there is some catching up to do, right? Because Alexis is now at the point that she's just now realized how much of a plot this was for these two. And she's kind of like like now she's at the point where the intel that she has is like where Augustus was 5 months ago, right? That previous chapter. So there's this weird like distance between these two characters, and there's also this distance between the characters' own recognition of where they're at now in these relationships. You know, and that doesn't really get clarified in these chapters. Like there's just all these like little breadcrumbs left for us to put together to assume the fact that these two men now care for her. But
Yeah.
there's no explicit like, yes, Alexis, we did this thing, and yes, it was maybe fucked up of us, but like that's not where we're at now. Like
Mhm.
is what happened is you being married to us and being bonded of us the result of that plotting? Absolutely. But we care for you in a way that's beyond the plotting that you've now figured out that we did. But why would you communicate in a relationship?
It ruins the plot.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people don't communicate in relationships, so there's also that. So not too far from the truth. Uh, okay, final chapter, chapter 36, the monster. It's an Alexis chapter. Alexis wakes up in her wedding toga in a huge bed with silk sheets, sleeping like in between her husbands, and she is pissed. She's pissed at her husband. She's like, she's pissed at everything. She just thinks they won't get away with this. They will pay for tricking me. There are consequences for marrying a monster. And then she thinks still she is a monster because of she thinks she's a serial killer. End of the book. Dun, dun, dun. How overall, how'd you like the book?
You know, it was
Before we sassy topic, sorry,
yeah,
we have a sassy topic. How did you like the book overall?
it was a slow build for me, especially in the
Mhm.
beginning with like all of the explanation and of the houses and things like that. Like I feel like I could have put that together as the book went along. So the first couple of chapters I was sort of like, okay, why are you telling me all of this? You know? Um I think the development of the character of Alexis got better as we went further along, right? Like the ways in which complexity was built around that character in the beginning of the book were very much like tropes, stereotypes, those sorts of things. And then the way that the complexities of how she operates as an individual became, I don't know, kind of more believable, I guess, as the book went on. They became a little more nuanced. They became a little more like related in like emotional depth. right? Like not quite as distant of a character. So I kind of appreciated that little bit of flow. Um, overall, and I don't know, I feel shitty saying this. I feel like not a feminist saying this or something, but overall, my favorite chapters were the chapters from the male point of view.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's because I liked the way that they were done or if it's because I liked that they were a break from Alexis or that they showed me something that Alexis didn't know was there. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. No, I actually very much enjoyed the male character. A lot of people, so some people just don't like multiple point of views or dual point of view or anything. I always love a good other point of view, especially when it comes to like morally gray characters or things. I love just getting a second side to all this. I don't but I don't think that's like not a feminist or anything. Like I truly enjoyed the male character also. I didn't give us a break from her because also up until maybe midway through, she was an unreliable narrator. So like we needed those other point of views to like make sure we knew what was going on. And so by not having a reliable narrator, I'm getting 5, 6 chapters. I don't know what I can believe. I don't know what I can take from this because I don't know how much I can believe her. So I don't think that's a terrible thing. And we didn't get them often, but I think we got them when we needed to get them. Um, but I also think it helps us like we're like we like these men, right? But we like these men because we know that there's more to them, but Alexis never got those chapters. Like she doesn't know that. So for her, this is different. But I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Phew, excuse me, sorry.
that's you.
Uh,
I think for me, too,
okay.
like once we got to the end of the book, overall, I was just sort of like, dude, Alexis, just be a good girl. One, it's fucking fun. Like, I'm gonna vouch for it here. Good times. Like, you're gonna like it,
Hmm.
right? Because we already get the inclinations that she's gonna like it. The way that she talks about it, I'm like, just give in. Not only are you gonna enjoy it, but it's also gonna make all this other bullshit in your life so much easier. Like, people wouldn't choose you for that dynamic if they didn't already sense that you were capable of it or you wanted it or you had interest in it. You know, that doesn't just get assigned to you if somebody can't be like, "Oh, she can do this." You know?
Yeah. I think all your complaints are fixed in chapter in book 2. I will say she does prolong it a smidge. But I think you're gonna get the Alexis that you want in book 2. So we just have to get all the way to the end. But yes. All right. Sassy topic. So there are different types of femininity like portrayed throughout the book, especially if we talk about what it means throughout decades. How do you feel about this? What are your opinion? Is there anything you would have changed about how it's portrayed in the book? Before you answer this question, I did ask Google, like, what's the definition? And the first definition that comes out just says qualities regarding characteristics of women or girls. So I was like, I need more definition, please. Like, to me, it means more than that. And then we go into, and it just says that this actually refers to the quality of being typically female, encompassing like sets of traits. So behavior roles that are also associated with women. These can include things like being nurture, your sensitivity, emotional expression, how you are influenced by cultural or historical content. So again, it can mean very different things. And but again, before you give me your conversation, before you give me yours, I do think these are what I'm talking about, like the different things that are portrayed, I mean, in it. We have Augustus and Charon who have protect, that their goal is to protect. They say shit like women shouldn't have to, I'm gonna protect them. They literally beat up or kill anyone that like looks at her a certain way. We have Helen, super girly, naive kind of type of girl. We have Nyx, who is very sexual, but only Alexis can see Nyx. So it's kind of like being very sexual, but in secret type of situation because no one else can see it. Then we have Alexis, a 20-year-old virgin who is a badass. Like she, at the end of the day, she is a badass. Like, right, she is our hero at the end of the day. But there are scenes where she's crying behind closed doors. She's hiding that. She is sensitive. there are times where she's not hiding that she's sensitive. So like, how do we feel like it was just portrayed throughout the whole book?
I mean, I think with, what you've just said, there's a realm of diversity there, which is true in femininity or being female or identifying as female, and it kind of makes me think about, I've been seeing a lot of discussion online about the phrase protect the dolls. And this has kind of been
Mm,
a phrase used to say, like, protect trans women. But part of the issue of it comes into play is like, well, are you only talking about trans women who fit this typical idea of femininity? Are you only talking about trans women who pass? Like, nobody's walking
mm,
around saying, like, protect the bricks, protects the ones we can clock? So
yeah,
it just makes me think of that, like, we have these ideas and we have these phrases that are designed to be inclusive, right? Protect the dolls is designed to say, like, we support trans women, but, like, what are you actually saying, right? Are
same.
dolls the only valid version of trans women, right? Where do we work with that? And I think there's too and I'm not saying too much diversity in a way that, like, it's too much and we need to scale it back. I think there's so much diversity in gender and sex and sexuality and how one is comfortable with taking on those roles, how one is comfortable with portraying themselves in those roles to public, right? Like, those are very different ideas, you know? And so I think while this book did have a fair amount of diversity in that, there's so much more out there. Even like the majority of femininity in this book, it was still presented in characters who are stereotypically assessed as female, right? There wasn't
Mhm.
really any sort of like gender variance or sexuality variance or anything like that. So while there were all these different viewpoints, it still came from a very like cis het place, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
to
I
me,
didn't
that's the
even
next
think
step.
of it that way, but yeah.
Yeah. The next step is do all of those things and then bring it in from people who don't fit that type, from people
Mhm,
who push it even further, right? Like it's easier to accept multiple sexualities from cis het women than it is to accept multiple sexualities from, a bunch of non-binary butchies, right?
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
so give me that. Give me the non-binary butchies book.
It's out, I promise you it's out there. I have read, I mean, I don't know if I read it to this extent, but I have definitely read, I feel like some books that do cross and do certain things like that, maybe, yeah, but it's out there. Trust me, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah.
And it's muddy and it's amazing and it'll get you all in your feels and all that jazz. It's out there. No, I like that. I actually didn't think of it that way. I personally liked the different variations or variety that we got, right? Like we needed it. This is supposed to be, I will say the one thing that did kind of bother me a little bit about this book is that like it's marketed as a why choose. She says it in the beginning of the book, like open scene this. I hadn't read this before we started talking about it on the podcast. I'm now caught up. I've read both books. So I what I was expecting was supposed to be all four of them, right? Like
Mhm.
I was thinking it was gonna be her with Petros and Achilles at one point, and then she was gonna move on to Kara and on Alexis. I did expect a little bit more spicy scenes in here, and I didn't get enough spicy scenes for me personally in this book. Uh, but I with saying that, I do like the different variations of femininity that we got. Um, and like, and I don't know if anybody else interpreted it that way, but like, honestly, love Nyx because she's kind of the. It's kind of like that song. What's the song where it's like a freaking the like you're a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets or whatever. You know it. But I
Nyx
feel like that's
Okay, hold up. Nyx is not a lady in the streets. No.
no. Well, first of all, no one can see her. No, but I feel like that's what she's trying to make Alexis. She's trying to make Alexis. like a lady in the streets.
Yeah. You can't make somebody be that though, you know? You you just you
That's true.
can't.
She's just trying. She's trying to. I don't know. She's trying. I love that we did get a super girly girl. We got Helen for a little bit. Like she's like, your skin tone, complexion, color. What's it like? Love it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, doesn't matter. I am an independent woman, but I do like to be taken care of. So I do love Augustus and Karen's protectiveness. But I will say, and I've said this 100 times before, and I'll say it again, their protectiveness is only okay in a fictional story. It's not okay outside of a fictional story. Like they can be protective in other ways, but not killing people and things. But yeah.
Sure. Okay, no, you shouldn't murder. Don't murder, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, like you shouldn't be doing these things. But otherwise I love that they're protective of that and of
yeah.
her, yeah.
Right, that I mean, in the context of the story, that works, right? In the context of
Mhm.
this fantasy, and they're in the society where, like, these are the roles that they've taken on. They are, like, expected to be the violent people. They are expected to, like, kill titans and all of these other sorts of things, right? Like, and I'm not saying you have to, like, always do exactly what's expected of you, but these are the roles that it's not, like, odd or weird or whatever for them to play or for them to buy into. So, if they were Olympians, would they be protective in a different way? Like,
Ooh,
the right? Like,
love an Olymp
what would that protectiveness look like? And the other thing to think
Mhm,
about too, like with these chthonic men and the way in which they're expressing that protection is we know chthonic powers are in the heart,
mhm.
right? And so when you think about the style of emotions that, right, like get you right in here, it's anger, right? It's like love, the other ones that are up in your head that would be Olympian powers, like, are they going to be extreme enough or strong enough that you would have a reaction of someone hurt you, I'm going to kill them, right? Or would it just be
Oh,
like someone hurt you, I'm going to slowly poison them with mercury?
love it. Ah, okay.
Same, but just different.
It is, it is. I'm gonna need to get you some more Morally Gray Men books. You're welcome. I know I love me a Morally Gray Man in a book. I absolutely love them. I'm on their side always.
Yeah, I think part of it for me too is like, um, I think what like the way that these men are portrayed as being like morally gray as far as like the morals of society and things like that, right? Like it's easy for me to kind of see how that would benefit in like sex play, right?
Oh, okay.
So I think that's why like I don't even think about these characters and like, oh, they murder, oh, they maim, or like, oh, they do this. I think of them in the realm of like, oh, they've got this like oomph behind them. I like
Oh,
I don't even I like when I even though I'm hearing the words or like whatever's happening is being described to me, I'm still just sort of like because I'm expecting smut, because I'm expecting some like right salaciousness, I'm just automatically reinterpreting that as like, oh, here's how that's gonna work when you're fucking.
yeah. I do think you get a little more of that in book 2. Um, like I said, I do wish there was slightly more sex scenes. And I get it. Alexis couldn't have the sex scenes, but then give us more fucking Petros and Achilles fucking or something. Like at that point I didn't care. Give me Hades and Persephone. Like, but I needed something like
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want Hades and Persephone. No offense to them.
you don't know that.
No.
You don't know. I think that would be hot.
I don't for me personally, no. Can
Have you not read a Hades or Persephone like retelling? A
I
smutty
just
one?
in this book,
Okay.
like
There's a why? Because there's appearance?
I just I just wanna see them as, like, these kind of, like, over here paternal figures.
Okay, that's fair.
That's the role that
That's
they've been set up as in this book, right? Like,
okay, that's fair.
if in book 2, we all of a sudden get a, like, "Yo, your parents are fucking" chapter, I'm gonna be like, "Huh? No. No, they're not." right? Like,
Well, they're also the only people right now who are like have this great marriage bond. So I don't think it'd be too far off. But I get your point. I get your point. They have a role. They have a role, and they're doing it.
this book, that is not their role.
Love it. All right. Well, cheers. Thank you for being
Yes.
my co-host of this book. We'll have to go ahead and we'll start book 2, everyone. So thanks. Bye.
E